Good evening, speakers and audience, and thank you for joining us over Jitsi and our YouTube channel. Participants are requested to keep their microphones on mute for the duration of the session in order for us to hear the speaker clearly. If any participant has any question or comment, please leave them in the chat box in the left-hand side corner of your screen. Participants joining us over YouTube can also leave their suggestion and comments in the channel's chat box and comment section. Our speaker will definitely try to address as many questions as possible. Welcome everyone to another episode of the Leaders Talk series. Today's topic is opportunities in virtual reality, augmented reality, and how extended reality is helping large industries reshape their work. Our speaker today is a virtual reality specialist, game programmer, AI evangelist, blockchain specialist, Mr. Arijit Bhattacharya. To give a brief introduction of our speaker, Mr. Bhattacharya is the founder and CEO of Virtualinfocom, India's one of the first game development and VR app development company since 1998. He has over 22 years of experience in helping startups, entrepreneurs, and governments across the world to solve problems using technology and innovation. He is also a senator of the World Business Angels Investment Forum. He's an international public speaker, a startup mentor, and a business scalability expert, as well as a finance, technology, and growth consultant focusing on small and medium enterprises, mid-level corporates, and has advised senior leaderships across MNCs on improving operating margins and driving profitability. Thank you, Mr. Bhattacharya. Thank you for being with us today to conduct the seminar. Thank you. We will soon start the session in a while. Before we start the session, I request Ms. Ina Bose, Director, HR and Industry Connect, Sister Nivedita University, to give her opening. Over to you, ma'am.
Thank you, Indrila. Arijit, I can't see you, but I'm sure you're here. Can you respond?
Yeah, I'm here. I'm actually turned on my video due to the bandwidth. I can see that there is a lot of people are there. So, yeah.
Yes, Arijit, my hearty welcome to you on this forum, and probably this is our first interaction from Sister Nivedita University. I'm really delighted to have you with us because you wear many hats. You are a technology, I would say, transformer. You're a technology transformer. You have brought a new concept to, I'm not sure whether it's the global scenario, but definitely India. It's a new subject that you use to the new generation. You have not only given a focus on the entertainment industry, but across all domains. Your subject has given us a lot of scope to do a lot of research and help particular industries to bring in this technology for advancements and growth, be that healthcare, be that automobile, be that I'll be a better person to on this. I'm just a vague idea that I have on your subject and on what you are doing. For our students, there's another good news. Mr. Arijit Bhattacharya is also being himself a startup company. He's a mentor and he's a venture capitalists also, supporting a lot many startup companies in coming to shape. Arijit, we are anxiously waiting to hear from you about your domain. Over to you, Arijit.
Thank you so much. I hope it's fine that if I don't turn on my video, and or else I can try. I
I
think
understand. I understand, Arijit, and I would request
fine.
everyone to keep off their video, camera, and microphone off so that we don't eat up a lot of bandwidth. And Arijit, you can try initially if with the camera, that would be better. Let them see your sound at least.
Sure. Okay. Um. So let me first try to see that whether I can share my screen. Is it fine? Is it visible to all of you?
Yes, yes, it's visible, Mr. Bhattacharya. Yes.
Super. Okay. So for the audience, for the sake of all of you, I believe that my target audience is mainly students and teacher. So I'm going to bore you for the next few minutes. I think I have got 45 odd minutes to bore you up. So when I was a kid, I used to
Arijit,
get a
Arijit, let me interrupt you. The students and the faculty members who are present come from across all disciplines. You have science, you have sociology, you have even law.
sure. So I'm going to basically bore you, and to be very honest, when I was a kid, people used to tell me that there is a global language which is called English. If you don't know it, it's going to be very difficult. You can't do anything in your life. So I was just thinking aloud. I'm coming down from a Bengali family, and my background is basically from Bengali medium. So is it necessary to uh, learn and understand a foreign language which is called English or not? And is it really necessary and understand the dictionary meanings or not? Then I realized that let's drop all the concept. Let me write my own kind of word and own kind of dictionary. So bore in my dictionary, the inner meaning for bore is beginning of re-engineered entrepreneurship. So for next few minutes, I'm going to show you something which is in between reality and imagination. If you have watched a movie called Matrix, there is a guy called Morpheus. According to his quote, I'm just taking a small help from the beautiful person. He asked to the audience that what is real? How do you define real? If you're talking about what you can feel, what you can sense, what you can smell, what you can taste, and if you feel that that's real, well, that's a very simple electrical signal that is interpreted by your brain, and you feel that okay, fine, maybe I'm eating something which is like sweet, and maybe I'm smelling something which is good smell. So these are all very simple electronic signal defined by our own brain, and each and every human being do have different kind of sense. You can't say for an example, if I am sensing something, that sense cannot be similar or same to the second person. Even though if you have twin brothers, your twin brother cannot say whether what he tastes is just like similar what you are tasting. So it depends on person to person. The way we feel, the way we see, the way we'll absorb, it all personalized. And the next future world is all about this personalization. Depending on that personalization, we have an interesting topic. That topic is augmented reality, virtual reality, mixed reality. And if you combine three of them, it becomes extended reality. Uh, Inadi, let me know if my voice is cracked or if you can't hear me or see me, just interrupt me in between.
Mr.
You are
Bhattacharya,
very
you're
clear.
audible for now.
Carry on.
Yes.
Super. Let me take you back what is virtual reality to say in 1950s, usually in India in 2020, we feel that virtual reality a complete new kind of technology. So I have been working in VR for last, I think, 1.5 decades now. When I started, I was really, just a MCA guy who started his company, just got to know about VR and hopped into the virtual reality world. Virtual reality actually started in 1950s by a cinematographer who wanted to give a 3D way of watching movies. And slowly it was commercially developed in 1988. And in 1991, the first commercial entertainment VR system virtually was released. And when you go deep into the technology, the initial language which was used for VR was VRML. So it's not at all like your C++ or Java, rather is kind of descriptive language, kind of, not exactly like your traditional C++ or Java, but if you know Lua, or if you know a language like a markup language like HTML, it started just like that. Slowly it gave us a very different kind of line of work. And certainly today, if you look at VR world, we have proper definition of VR systems. We have immersive system, we have non-immersive system. Immersive, non-immersive is actually defined in 4 different ways, which was initially with desktop, which was either with Windows or a world of virtual reality. Then slowly it became video mapping virtual reality and immersive. And the immersive one slowly adapted and integrated with augmented virtual reality. AR and augmented virtual reality are both 2 different terms. Let me take you to the journey first. Let me give you a small brief about the VR hardware. In the initial days, VR hardware were actually defined in 4 different ways, which was into normal helmet system. Nowadays, it is being called as headset. Then we used to have a cave system, boom tube concept, and acupressure point concept. Nowadays, they don't exist anymore. Nowadays, we have only the HMDs, the cave. We have got a new system, which is data globe, and then we have stereoscopic displays, we have simulators, we have a lot of different new stuff that came up in the market. For an example, for gesture control, we have rings, which has been developed by a couple of scientists in South Korea, through which you can actually detect a human and track his movement. It is being used in a lot of different cases. I'll go through those small cases slowly. Then we have body control device, and nowadays we have a couple of hardware which is integrated with VR and AR both, like a glass. So the way you wear a normal glass, we have an augmented reality glass for the same. So it acts as your smart glass. Before I hop into your VR industry applications and go very deep, I would love to tell you a very simple storyline. And this is a story of a hungry gentleman. Imagine a situation: you are driving a car, and when you are driving that car, you are hungry. And you're wearing that smart glass, and the smart glass is completely tailor-made for you. It can detect, understand your blood pressure. It can understand your heartbeat. It can understand your health condition, and it knows exactly what time usually you feed yourself. So say for an example, you usually have a tendency of having a small meal at 4 o'clock, and while you're driving, the glass itself understood that it's about 4 o'clock. It's going to give you a simple question: are you hungry? While driving, you don't have to type anything. You just give a reply yes or no. Say for an example, that fellow gave an answer, yes, I'm hungry. So the glass will detect and understand this is 4 o'clock. This gentleman usually love Chinese or Italian at this time. Because he is driving, maybe there is some Chinese joint or maybe some Italian pizza available. It will search automatically, give you a response back. Would you like to have a pizza, or would you like to have some say some Chinese dish or not. Now, according to your choice, you said, I would love to go for a pizza. Glass will connect nearby restaurant and it will search for the menu. While it is searching, it is giving you a choice. Would you like to go for a veg or non-veg? As a human, you go for that veg pizza. And it will be asking you again, would you like to go for a olive pizza? Would you like to go for double cheese? So depending on your choice, the glass will give the order to that particular restaurant. While you're driving, within the next 5 kilometers, your order is being prepared. When you are there, you get a hot, creamy, juicy pizza ready in front of you. You have it, consume it, drive away. Or you take it, and while you are driving, you are having it. So what happened in the back end? So I'm not talking about some science fiction geek story. I'm talking about the future which is coming up. Nowadays, when you look at this industry, virtual reality, augmented reality, these are all deeply connected with blockchain technology, hash technologies, along with artificial intelligence and ML. These are all interlinked. In the back end, the glass is connected with your banking system. It has got a crypto code enabled, and your bank allows that glass to pay on behalf of you to that restaurant. So certainly your retina scan has been done by the glass. You yourself approved it, and the AI system automatically played a interesting role, and it pays that restaurant that amount which you deserve for. And certainly if you have some kind of discount, it will go for that as well, right? So the future technology that we think sitting in India that's coming up, it's happening in few of the places in some part of the world. Although these are all in testing phase, it's not there yet, but it's coming. So if you look at the picture, the 4 different picture I have used, I'm trying to give you a very small amount of understanding how VR industry applications can be done. Well, I'm taking example of healthcare system. In healthcare, imagine a situation that there is a very complicated surgery needs to be done. In VR, you can have an exact 3D simulation of that patient. And if you look at the picture of that doctor with white dress and the lady with a sweater, a blue sweater, they are both using an extended reality application where the doctor is explaining the condition of the patient. If you look at the picture down, the last picture, it's an industry application where from the industry itself, you can understand any kind of complicated machine behavioral pattern, and it can give you the exact simulation before you go for a production. Well, I'm associated with one of the finest project in Australia, which is going to happen very soon. I'll declare that in the social media as well. But because it's actually a session from Inadi, certainly I can disclose the fact. Well, there is a aviation industry, and they are using extended reality to make that airplane before it is built. And it's not about making a normal 3D presentation. It's about exact machines. It's about exact engines. It's about exact behavioral pattern. So when you go deep into those complexity as an industry, all of us need to understand the real scenario, how engines are being made, so that we can create that simulated system. It's not a job of a programmer, honestly speaking. It's not a job of a designer. It's a job of a complete team where we have specialists from the relevant industry. For an example, for this aviation, we have engineers who are being called as aviation engineers. We have got a top team of people from Canada who helped us to create those kind of situation, those kind of simulated situation. So what happens, you actually save your time and your money, and you save life as well. So before you build it in actual reality, you build it on a system which is an extended part of virtual reality. I'll explain that later on for sure, and I'll show you a couple of live demo. I'll try to do that. I'm not sure if I can do properly with the bandwidth or not, but I'll try my best. So when you make a aviation industry, for an example, if you are making an engine, then there are very small components which actually build a aircraft engine. So when you build that, you need all those data. When you assemble all those data in a simple solution, you have a flexibility to create a different kind of structure. And I'm trying to give you a real life scenario. For an example, your workers are sitting in Vietnam. Say, for an example, you've got 3 people working from Vietnam. You have got 5 from Hong Kong. You have got maybe 7 from US. You have got maybe 10 people in Australia. But they are not moving at all from their home. The beauty of these kind of system is you can do a collaborative project sitting at home. You use the technology, log in into the system, and with different time zone, with different network bandwidth, you work on the same project, build it, test it, certify it, and then go for a simulated one, whether the engine is working properly, it's fine or not, and then you show it to the workers, and they follow the whole engineering which has been already done and prepared. So before you go for a production, say for an example, if you're using that extended reality technology, you are saving almost 3 months of working time. That's the beauty of this virtual reality industry. Now, if I go into the healthcare industry, it saves a lot of different aspects. For an example, if you want to do some kind of surgery and you don't have the surgeon at the moment, you can go for, although it depends on the country and the law, you can go for a robotic surgery, and all robotic hands and the eyes, these can be controlled by virtual reality system, where a mainframe server will teach you, guide you if you are doing something wrong. It's not an AI. There are multiple number of doctors data which is being put into a centralized server, and the server system is giving a complete different kind of fetching system which allows the doctor to understand the complexity, and he get a lot of different help while doing that VR operation. And then they can go for our actual one with the actual people. That saves a lot of time and money. And certainly there is an option where you can go for training module, you can go for teaching your staff, you can go for training your maybe core team. Even nowadays banks are using virtual reality system to teach their employees about good banking, about customer care system. And then certainly there is another huge industry wherein we did a few of the works. For an example, we did a couple of games on virtual reality. This is a complete different beautiful world, but it's mainly for entertainment and increasing the IQ level. For an example, if you're using a sniper game, uh, usually it has been seen from the specialists that if you're using a sniper game, or maybe you're playing some different level of action game, your response level increases like anything. But overdosing anything is not good. So here also, if you play a lot of game, that's not good. But if you're playing it properly with proper kind of equipments, that's one of the amazing and finest thing that you can expect in life. And probably I've seen people who play games, at least in PC, their typing speed is completely different than the others. They can become a amazing programmer. They can type without watching the keyboard as well. So like their IQ level increase in a completely different jargon. Okay, so as I was saying, augmented reality, virtual reality, and mixed reality. What are these? Why 3 different terms? Augmented reality is actually huge, to be very honest. For AR, you don't need. Am I audible? Hello, am I audible?
Yes, absolutely, yes.
Okay, sure. So AR, for an example, for augmented reality, you don't need any kind of headset. You can use your smartphone. You can use it, point it to a particular area. You just need a good light. It can interact with user space. It can engage users. It can increase the brand awareness. It can actually boost sales. For an example, Coca-Cola is using augmented reality applications to increase their sales and boosting it like anything. VR, on the other front, it's immersive, a safe kind of environment. It doesn't need you can say the real life scenario. It can happen within a small headset box. It can have a storytelling, it can have a movie, it can have a simulation in reality, it can have a behavioral tracking. MR is something interesting. MR do have a natural UX. It doesn't need any kind of well, you can use gesture control systems. Certainly you can have free hands. You can actually touch things in mixed reality. There is a huge range of possible interaction with real world. For an example, you can learn cricket, you can learn football, you can go for archery, you can do some kind of play, you can maybe work on a scientific project. You can do anything in MR. I mean, it's not possible in a PPT to give you a real life scenario of MR. Maybe in near future, once we meet, we can show you few of the demos. On a augmented reality front, this is how it started long time back, where you have a 3-dimension registered system. With the system, if you have that smart glass, the picture that you're watching, this is how you can get the information. You can actually have the full detail of before you know a person. If you have a smart glass and the glass with the database, your net is working, and like countries like India, if you can fetch the Aadhaar card, you can have full detail of a person by just watching at him. You'll get his name, his address, his age, his date of birth, whatever is available in the global database. That's the kind of future that we are talking about. And with that note, let me take you to a real life example. I hope this will be interesting to all of you. So this has been done for a particular industry where the training has been done for crane operators training. When you go deep into the sea, there are a lot of different complex operations that people have to do. And in earlier days, there were accidents. In earlier days, there were situations that there is a heavy wind, and the water, you can't predict the water, honestly speaking. It's basic science. I mean, water you can't predict and calculate that easily. So when you go for a normal training like this, in extended reality, and with the help of augmented reality and virtual reality, the exact crane simulation has been done where people can have that kind of training, and before they go for the actual crane, they are well equipped, well understandable for that kind of technology, and they can track the situations, their behavior, their correctness, their actions, depending on the company protocol. So each and every place when you put this kind of training module, people brain interact with the real life after having that kind of training. So these training modules help them to understand, learn, fetch things before they go for the real life. So it's just like your Matrix movie where Neo is being trained within fraction of second about how to fly a helicopter, or maybe for different kind of arms and ammunition. Well, that's the movie. But when you come back to the real life, if you have this kind of training maybe for 10 to 12 days, your working procedure with real life crane is actually smoother than a new novice guy who don't know anything about how to move it. I'll tell you the reason. So it's not about your 3D movie. I'm not sure how many of you have experienced virtual reality. With these kind of operation training, usually you have the exact kind of recoil because your pressure points are connected with the smart gloves and smart point connectors. In fact, there is a glass through which you are inside the system. You can actually feel the wind, you can actually feel the waves, you can actually feel the recoils, the gravity, everything just like same. And these people are well trained for extreme conditions. With these kind of simulation operation, we usually give different kind of environment, like storm, like rain, like sunny days, like big waves. So you can be prepared beforehand before you go in reality. Let's talk about the digital twin. So digital twin is a replica of an existing ship, which is visualization of hologram in the 3D mixed reality through HoloLens glasses. I'm not sure really how many of you have heard about HoloLens or maybe used it. If you haven't used it, well, it's costly, but yes, it's really amazing. When you use it, you can actually build, maybe, I mean, it's not there inside, we build it tailor-made. You can actually have the real-time, real-life scenario in the hologram. You can watch it, understand it, and enjoy it. For an example, in this example, the digital twin of our existing ship can give you the full understanding of a particular model. You can run various type of simulation. You can change the weather parameters, technical difficulties, your cargo weight, your back end calculation, your physics. There is a lot. I mean, this industry is pretty well connected with very deep science. uh, People often, I'm really sorry for this statement if I'm making it, because it's live, but somehow we lack a lot in India. I mean, we think that virtual reality or game development is under animation. It's not. Sorry for the statement, but that's a true. Um, because animation is actually all about your creative work, all about your drawing skills, your modeling skills, maybe a little bit of scripting, but not in reality. On the other hand, within virtual reality or within gaming, animation is just a part. So if you look at the industry, gaming is a technology. You use that gaming technology into virtual reality sometimes, and sometimes you use maybe a hardcore deep code, and you take help of different other industry materials, integrate the whole thing all together, work with logical world, and to give it a very good shape, you take help of graphic designers, animators, 3D modelers. So it cannot be under, it can go hand in hand, or maybe mix both the things, and vice versa, and so on and so forth. uh, Let me take you to another example. Oko is another application, which is an augmented reality application, which was built for customers for Oko gas stations. These gas stations usually take their 5 minutes coffee break, more emotionals and magical during the winter holidays. I mean, until unless you use it, it's you can't actually experience it. For an example, Pokemon Go is one of the example of augmented reality game, and I'm sure there are a lot of news about Pokemon. Well, a lot of accident happened. Yes, true, each and every technology do have its positive vibration as well as negative vibration. But yes, I think the future is going to be more on these kind of AR application. In fact, a lot of Western country, they moved their sales channel, their branding into AR rather than the traditional model. And in fact, during this lockdown period, we have seen as an industry there is a lot of brand who moved from traditional media to our industry, because they get users, they get proper customer, their sales are being boosted like anything, they get loyal people who are staying with them, and we can calculate the data, understand it. But if you go for a TV channel or maybe a traditional media ads, if you put something on a newspaper, which is a printed one, it's one time, it's gone, you get a maybe a brand value. But if you don't continue, people minds usually don't register each and every day. But when you go for these kind of applications, they interact, certainly your, mind works in a complete different manner. For travel industry, we have another very interesting application which we call as Wikitude. Wikitude is basically a augmented reality based travel guide. Well, you just need to use it. When you use it, you can have everything in your smartphone. Like when you are traveling, you practically don't have to use any kind of map. You don't have to ask anybody about anything. It's there. It's just there. You point it to some place. It will talk about their history, the whole structure, how it is built, and then how you can enter, what is there inside, how you can get some kind of, maybe if you're looking for, say, a very good dress, so it can tell you that whether it is cheap or not, and whether there is a alternative available in nearby area or not. Sound interesting, right? So this is the kind of industry application which happened for last couple of years, at least for the last 4.5 years. So I'll be most probably hopping into the production map, but before I go and hop into very deep into the technical aspect, I'm open for maybe 1 or 2 questions if you have any. Then maybe I can go for the real production map if that helps.
Mr. Bhattacharya, we have one question from Shobana Chakraborty. Hello.
Okay.
Well, she's asking, is Autodesk Inventor somewhat similar, because we can simulate machines there too?
No, Autodesk Inventor is not the system that I'm talking about. That's a simulator, and I'm talking about real-time recoil. In Inventor, you can't have acupressure point recoils the way I'm explaining it. For an example, you can't go deep inside, say, a aircraft. It can certainly give you a simulation of a system. Like if I'm talking about a aircraft engine, let me take that example only. So it can give you a 3D simulation. You can go deep, you can see things, you can interact with them. Yes, sure, but no, if you have to use it on an industry perspective, if you want to change it, physics, simulator movements, the recoils, what will happen, the backend calculation, the AI based system, these are not available. Okay, so Dipanjan Pal, is Unity better or Unreal Engine? Well, Dipanjan, I would love to ask you a question. Do you love biryani or fried rice? Dipanjan? Super. And your mom, she loves biryani or she loves fried rice or maybe some other dish? Why? So you mean to say biryani is better than fried rice? Right. Because tastes are different. So if you just want to compare between Unity or Unreal, you just can't do that. Because both the engines do have their own kind of functionality and own kind of test. Well, as a fresher, you can go for Unity. But if you ask me, I love Unreal rather than only Unity. Unreal is pretty old engine, and it is more flexible with a lot of more graphics. It is built on C++, got a lot of different kind of functions. Unity till date is updating. Certainly it's a very unique flexible engine. You try that. That's great for making games. That's great for making movies. That's great for I would say few of the simulations. But if you go to very deep level of these kind of solution, uh, I would recommend learn a lot, because Unity and Unreal both are very common one. You can maybe start with any one of them, but when you go deep, you will understand that you actually need to build a lot of different plugin by yourself. Unless you do that, it's very difficult to talk with the machines. Well, sir, VR and AR, which is better? It depends on you. If you want to go for VR, that's a great option to explore. If you want to go for AR, that's another option to explore. Well, you guys are actually asking me a question like the gentleman asked me, like biryani or fried rice. You can't have that kind of answer. For an example, if I ask you Java is better or C++ is better, you can't define that, frankly speaking. Well, if you look at the industry perspective, it depends on the industry how you want to give a solution. If you want to go deep into the future, that's my own understanding. Don't trust me 100%. But yes, augmented reality is the future rather than the only virtual reality. The only solo reason is VR till date needs a lot of devices, which is costly. And augmented reality on the other front, you can use your simple smartphone and you can use a lot of amazing stuff. So on cost perspective, AR is going to rule, not only VR, but in AR you can't do a lot of stuff. So maybe combine both of them, like AR and VR. XR is the future. Well, yes, Shubham, XR is the future. Mixed reality mixed with couple of real-time scenario starts extended reality. So extended reality is the future where you can have touch and feel. That's the future. If you want to go deep into that, I think you are at least safe for the next 2 to 3 years, but you need to continuously update yourself and upgrade yourself. It cannot be like, learning one simple language and you continue with the same. For an example, I used to talk about Python long back, long in the sense 12 years back. People used to as a crazy guy who is talking about some snakes. But this is how at least Bengal system used to be. Shall I continue with the questions or shall I jump into the production map? Is there any AR XR system that can be used to improve medical facility? Yeah, there are. I already showed you the demo. I mean, the picture. There are a lot of existing XR system that is being used for medical facilities, and certainly there are augmented reality systems which are not fully tested, but yes, people are using it. They have started using it. At least in Asia, there are companies who have tested it. They started using it, and it's fruitful. It's actually fruitful. You can ask me more question. Let me finish the presentation. You are going to see a lot of different stuff. I'm sure that you haven't seen that. Well, if you look
Arijit,
at the production map, we have three
Ori-
different segments. One is the research and development
Arijit,
part. Yeah,
Arijit, let's keep the last 10 minutes for the questions. You continue with your presentation.
yeah, sure. Well, we have a R&D section, we have a development and publishing support. When you go for R&D, R&D is basically works very well if you have a established company. Well, as a startup, if you are startup into this domain, it's really tough to go for R&D. The only solo reason is it's costly. Trust me, it's costly. If you really have to set up a proper lab, I'm not sure how many of you have experienced that. To set up a proper lab, you need a couple of $1 million to have it. The device cost, software, people for the R&D. For development, certainly it can be done within $500,000. Proper team which can make money. So you need a proper pipeline. For an example, usually it happens from analysis. So for any project, if you're working on maybe you're working on entertainment or maybe some industry aspect or maybe anything on this VR, AR or XR or MR, first of all, you need to understand who is your customer. So if you know what is your customer, you know the target market, then it starts from there. Okay, there is a challenge. Till date there is a challenge that it is very difficult to educate your market. So there is a ecosystem across the world who try to give knowledge. They share it with the audience. so that market gets a feasibility report about the strength of these technologies. So certainly the pipeline starts from your analysis, then your detection, then the ideation, whatever you want to do. Then there is a R&D phase of your project, and then there must be at least a product which you have developed, something to show. It might not be very classy, but at least something to show. And then a technical specification, what you need, what kind of hardware you need. And then the last phase, which is the publishing phase. And for publishing phase, you need a full development cycle with testing, your support, your data analysis, your cloud server, how to fetch data, how to understand the data, read it, learn it, and then execute it. These are the few extra market trend which is there, like web air. It's going to stay. I'm planning to launch a knowledge portal for all these kind of technologies. Please stay tuned. I'll be announcing it soon. You guys can have a free training over there, maybe for a couple of chapters at least. And then you have Instagram, Facebook filters, ad campaigns. You have wireless AR hardware, your sensors. I mean, sensors are working like anything nowadays. I mean, you won't believe, around 3 years back, we tied up with a company. As I told you, a group of scientists who left Intel, and they started their own operation in South Korea. They built a beautiful, device, which is a couple of rings. If you wear them in your hand, let me be very slow because I think um, okay, so like if you wear them in your hand, you have it maybe two rings in your two fingers, in your two hands. You can detect the whole body, like your gesture can be calculated. So you can do anything with those gesture control devices. Okay, so those are the kind of technical innovation that's happening around the world. People are using it. Like this is going to be the future. Then we have location-based augmented reality solution. Certainly, we need great bandwidth for the same. Not like India. Sorry, India needs electricity and bandwidth till date, although it is 2020, but we lack that. So sitting here in India, you can't just expect that the kind of solution that I'm talking about, you can experience it properly. But yes, you can test it. Okay. Then you have some edge rendering. You have ecosystems, like I was talking about, the ecosystem which is being built. There are a lot of people who are freely, willingly share their knowledge, share their experience, so that others can learn and the industry can grow. We have data racks, tracking analysis, which allows others to access that, understand it, learn, and then implement it in the industry solutions. So if I break down maybe a simple solution which was done by us around I think 5.5 years back for our automotive industry. So this is the kind of working breakdown. The picture in the left is a scenario where a driver can, I'm sorry about the resolution, I tried my best to make it more bright. It's difficult to put these kind of pictures in PPT. Well, here you can learn and understand how to do driving, how to learn it, and you can choose different car which can be on the real life road, but you are actually sitting in your home, you're learning that whole driving scenario. It's a kind of simulation in sitting inside the car, getting all those bumpers, all those activities. There will be people who will be coming in front of you. You need to escape them, you need to put your brake, you need to move things and all. But when you go deep into the reflections and shadows, these are the dependent renders which usually happens in VR world. Um with these kind of renders, the challenge is actually understand the optimization technique. The optimization usually works best when you use large overlapping transparent objects and compress your texture. These are the very small industry technique that people usually use, and so do we. These kind of solutions can give you a lot of experience with real-time scenario. uh, for the sake of knowledge, these are not at all from any known companies like Autodesk or Adobe. They are great into their graphic designing software, or maybe 3D animation and rendering, but these are all a different kind of plugin that we use. we have to build it on our own. There are certain reasons, otherwise uh, cost effection, I mean bringing down the cost will be very difficult, number one. Number two, working fast would be a challenging task. For everyone's sake, we are a 100% remote network company at the moment, because I was recruiting a lot of people from out of India. I was thinking that if I can make my company 100% remote networking, home based working kind of company. So in 2017 end, we moved into cloud. Not the kind of cloud that you're thinking. It's not about your Amazon cloud or Google cloud. It's our own kind of rack server. And each and every employee, they log in their particular time into the server. They work on the whole server system, on the technology that we have created so far. So we have a different kind of advantage which happened during COVID time, because it's all the same for us. Like, all the people who work in our organization, they are scattered in various places. uh, they don't have to move, and the work is not affected at all, just because we thought in 2017 it was pain. I mean, it was pain, like for 6 months it was a pain for all of us to move into the whole system into cloud itself. But when you talk about this kind of system, it requires a lot of bandwidth, it requires a lot of connectivity issues, it requires a lot of graphics. So certainly we build our own kind of system which can give amazing solution for our clients and for the products that we build. And for the same reason, it's a very optimized kind of solution that we created in the background. And this is a very small target sense when you try to do anything on virtual reality or mixed reality or maybe XR. Well, usually, if you know the engines, because somebody asked me about Unity or Unreal, usually I prefer 50 to 100 draw calls per frame for both the eyes, and then 50 to 100 tries or vertices for both the eyes, less than 2 milliseconds of script execution, which allows the user to have uninterrupted solution, even though there is a low bandwidth. Yes, that can be done. And certainly finish your frame within 13 milliseconds to leave at least 2 milliseconds of time wrap. I'll tell you the reason. What is Okay, let me explain what is time wrap. For an example, if you're watching anything in real world, forget about VR, AR or XR, human brain do have a tendency of registering anything. Okay, for an example, if I talk too fast, it's difficult for you to understand me. So if I talk maybe a little bit of slow, you will say this guy is really slow. I mean, this is horrible. But if I make it proper, like a normal kind of communication process, it depends on person to person how he is registering the words. Okay, if the registration process happening properly, there is a 2 to 3 millisecond gap in human brain, which usually takes a human to register anything. It can be a sense, it can be a taste. Like if you're experiencing chili, it takes max to max 2 milliseconds for a person to understand whether it's really hot or not. Okay, so that's the sole reason we usually go for a time wrap of 2 milliseconds, so that human brain can understand it and can give a in-depth uh, understanding into the neurons, so that it can act accordingly. Okay, so that's one of the solo reason. Inadi, shall I go very deep or shall I skip the technicalities? What do you prefer? Hello? Hello?
How long would you take if you go into technicalities?
I think it will
See,
take
I'm sure the
10.
audience. I'm sure the audience
Yeah,
is
I'll be
happy
asking the
to
audience, shall I
hear you.
go deep into technicalities? Yes or no will be fine. Because if I go very deep, it might get real technical. Like,
Then I would suggest to skip that part. We can have a see. Someone is writing yes.
sure. Kunal,
Okay.
maybe
Okay.
later on, but yes, I'll be showing you a few of the stuff which we did
Right.
so far. This is I have skipped all the all the possible technical stuff. But yeah, I'll be showing you something which interests you. Okay.
We can take a view of the studio
This is the
later
scenario
and
of,
arrange another session sometime later.
yeah, we'll go for that. Well, this is certainly is one of my close to heart project, which started long back during a ITC Sonar Bangla show, which was Calcutta's first cosplay show. We decided to create a full-fledged virtual reality-based magazine where a person, a normal, ordinary person, or a model can experience virtual reality or augmented reality into fashion. The picture that you are watching, these are not Photoshop. These are all you can say VR based snapshot within the VR magazine itself, where a person can wear or experience any kind of dress in their body, take a snapshot and put that into social media. And then we floated a platform called Glam World Face, where people are using it in a different purpose. It's
I think
pretty
I was
maybe.
present in that particular event of yours. I was
Yes,
present there.
yes.
It was really a glamorous show.
Thank you. So it actually started with the show itself, and but then we moved into a complete different technicalities. Anyone can wear that glass, and he or she can choose the possible dress he or she wants to try. It will convert that whole thing into a reality scenario. He or she can try the dress on their body and certainly uh, you know experience the whole dress and then choose it, maybe go for merchandise as well. This is one of the initiative that we started in local village, tried to help the local community, wherein from local community they build these kind of real life object. We integrate them into our own systems, our own store, which is certainly you can purchase it using the VR system. You can order and you can have it, and the whole money goes back to these kind of community people so that they can equip themselves. These are the few investments initiatives that we have started so far for the last 22 years. Virtual Infocom is my mother company. Along with that, we have a couple of different portals. So for the students, we are looking for interns for all these kind of segments, and I shared few of the portals wherein maybe you can come as a technical writer, or maybe content creator, or maybe digital marketer, or maybe technical programmer. Would love to take example of Avalue. Avalue Global Investment is an Australian-based investment company started by three of us, me, Dave, and Marco. We raise capital for the startups, SMEs, and corporates. Supreme Corps is another technology company which is mainly focused into doing massive technical solutions based out of Australia. These are all registered companies, different places, different countries. Yoga training for you, one of my close to heart project, which we started in Thailand, in Phuket, wherein we in real life train people on different tactics in yoga, as well as BJJ, MMA, martial arts. So there are people who come to us where maybe somebody's left hand is not working, so it's our moral duty to cure them. And certainly as a technology guy, we are using virtual reality as a solution into these kind of treatments. People get a lot of benefit. I Am Superhero is a non-profit platform for us, wherein we encourage kids to draw and write about their own kind of unique superhero. If it is complete unique, we like it. We usually have two options for the kid. A, we take that character as one of our superhero character, give him the all the mileage and all the flexibility, pay him, and in near future, if his parents see that there is a value, they can join us. Animation reviews is another platform when we write about new animated movies, reviews, technicalities. Cybersecurity is another platform for us, wherein we go for a lot of penetration testing, forensic things and all. VGD, virtual game developer, that's a platform for indie developers. We publish their games, so on and so forth. Few of the only works that we did so far on virtual reality. Certainly, we worked with celebrities, and for the audience, this is the next VR game that we are working on, Surpanakha. I'm not sure whether you are familiar with these kind of characters or not. So I have a tendency of digging into the science behind the mythology, and we are exploring the beautiful princess Surpanakha, who is sister of Ravana. Although our storyline always goes differently, so that people can enjoy it, and there is a hidden tendency of teaching you while you play the game, teaching you the history and culture, what we are, we used to be as a Sindhu culture. Let's skip all this. I think I'm totally done with the presentation. That's my social connect. If you want to connect me in Twitter, Insta, Facebook, always there. And I'm open for your question and answer.
Arijit, before the others raise their questions, I have a few questions.
Sure.
Arijit, what do you think is the scope in this particular domain of yours, in this particular technology, for non-technology students?
Well, if this is a question from, well, let me take it this way. If they are good in writing, say maybe technology, you mean programming, or technology, you mean uh, only I mean, for me, art is also technology. So that's why I'm
I mean
asking.
engineering. I mean non-engineering students.
Non-engineering students. So yeah, there
Or,
is a lot of scope if they are.
or not computer science or such.
See, there if there are musicians, we always take musicians as our teammates, because for anything that we build on gaming, we require fresh music. So to give you a direct answer, we actually took a couple of students who created music for our Ashathama game, and those people are students actually. So there is a huge scope. If you are musicians, you can create music. B, if you're an artist, we can certainly go for that. There is a huge scope if you can create concept arts. You don't have to go for maybe a computer based digital drawing. I don't need that. If you are great in drawing, not a landscape certainly, but if you're great in character designing, you can think out of the box. There is a huge possibility. Certainly we can go for that. The third part is we're looking for writers, writers who love this kind of segment. uh, Allow me to show you something interesting. This is, it's not at all a part of technology, but this is one of our passion to dig the mythology and science behind the mythology. So this portal that you're watching at the moment, 8metals.com, is full of the background story of all those mysterious things that we feel that maybe Hanuman used to be a monkey. So we explore why he is not a monkey actually. He used to be a superhero. Why? What is the science behind it? How in Mahabharata we had 101 Kauravas. I mean, is it truly a test tube baby or not? So these kind of stuff we are doing, and we are taking people on board who have deep passion about these kind of odd stuff. I mean, for normal guys who does usual job, it's odd stuff for them. But for us, we are taking these kind of crazy guys who have a tendency and love and passion to digging those kind of scientific facts.
I may be wrong, Arijit, but if I've understood it properly, even for the healthcare sector, when you're working with this technology, you need to have people with knowledge in medicine or in surgery or other such things.
100%, yes, Inadi. We need people actually who are surgeon. I mean, it's not that we need passionate people for these kind of solution which we make for healthcare industry. We take real scientists, we take real surgeons, we take help of doctors if we are working on medicine.
Okay, I have another question. Again, you have mentioned about the Indian problem of bandwidth and such other facilities. So, would I take it this way that scope in developing such programs, technology, is not possible in India? Maybe we from here can work as a workman, but not as a developer. Am I right?
Your voice is breaking, so I couldn't actually hear it. Shall I share my screen? I think that will save some data.
Yeah, please.
Yeah. Can you please repeat?
Yeah, what I was trying to say is that because of bandwidth and other problems, Indians, we will not be able to work on the development of this technology, but we can work as workmen. We can help in the execution, but not in the development. Am I right?
No, madam. No, madam. No, madam. We as Indian, we can very well work on these technology irrespective of the bandwidth issue. The only challenge is if you want to have users in India. See, as a developer, certainly he will work on his own laptop or computer. He will test it online. For those aspects, bandwidth, I don't feel will be a very big challenge, at least for a person who is working in this line for 2 to 2.5 years. But for user perspective, if the data is being fetched from a cloud server, it's going to be a challenge. So from execution perspective, uh, if the person is sitting in a in a village, it's going to be difficult. It's going to be difficult, certainly.
Okay. Do we have any more questions, Indila?
I think I've got a
No,
question from
no.
Papia. She's asking, is it possible? Go details. Okay, no, we'll do it later on maybe.
Yes, I've already answered her. We have replied to her that we can have another session with only selectively with only the students or the faculty members who would be really keen to know more. Uh, Arijit, it was just fantastic. You had taken us to a different world altogether. It was a world of imagination, dream, and there's a question someone has asked, Shubham has asked, how to get in the internship. Now, let me reply to that. We have already asked the students to mail their CVs to us. We will primarily do a little bit of shortlisting and we'll forward it to Mr. Arijit Bhattacharya. And he, as per his requirement, he would take in interns from the list. Am I right, Arijit?
Yes, certainly.
And I'm sure anyone and everyone from any domain can apply for this internship. It could be even from the languages, it could be from the mass comm, it could be from the computer science, any stream.
Yeah.
Thank you, Arijit. Thank you. It was really fascinating. I would, after this lockdown and the pandemic situation is over, I would invite you to visit our in person, and I'm sure we will be able to take forward your dream from Sustainable University.
It will be my pleasure. It will be my pleasure. Thank you so much.
We are very senior. We have very senior faculty members here. Madam Bula Bhadra, Professor Bula Bhadra. Madam, do you have any questions or anyone else? Or should we wind it up?
Inadi, I couldn't hear you. Sorry. But for anything that you ask me, I'm at your
I was
service.
just
Anything you are asking me, I'm at your service. Whatever you feel, I'm there.
if she has any questions.
Professor, this is the ma'am.
I
I
don't
think
think
ma'am is
that.
asking question to Professor Bula Bhadro. If Professor Bhadro has any question to, am I right, ma'am? That's all you're asking. If Professor Bhadro would
Yes.
like to say something. If Professor Bhadro would like to say something. Professor Bhadro, are you there?
I think either we have
We
lost
lost
her
her.
or
Yes, yes.
there is some gap. Anyways, thank you, Arijit. Thank you so much.
My pleasure. Thank you. Thank you, audience.